What's up, Builders Club TV Nation? You got DeJuan Jones here, your professional stay-at-home dad, and man, boy, am I excited. Fired up once again, family. You know how we do it. We got an exciting guest with us tonight. This gentleman has had an amazing career inside of the network marketing industry, working from home, entrepreneur, CEO, home business mentor, international speaker, and trainer. If you spend any time on the internet or in this industry, you probably know the name Brandon Hayes. We got him on the show tonight, family, and we're going to get the opportunity to speak with him and talk to the man with the plan. You know how we do it. Let me get myself on camera so you can see me, family. And as always, I can basically thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the information about the Builders Club TV. Again, our goal, our vision is to bring value your way and, introduce to you people who have done amazing things inside of the network marketing industry or just entrepreneurship in general. So as long as you support, we'll continue to give the value. So let me make sure that our good friend is on with us. Brandon, can you hear me okay, man? Man, we can hear you loud and clear. Let me get you on camera, man, so we can speak to you a little bit and introduce you to the family. There we go. What's going on, man?
Hey, everything's going on. All kinds of good stuff.
Awesome. Hey, man, we're excited to have the opportunity to speak with you, man. Like I was telling the family, you've done some amazing things inside of this home business industry, literally help people from all over and help people, decide to win in this industry. And so we thank you for your service in the industry, man. And so we're excited to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on to Builders Club TV.
Hey, I mean, the thanks goes to you, my friend. I appreciate anytime I get an opportunity to speak to, a network or a group of people, whether it's one person or a million people or anything in between. I never take that lightly, and I don't take it for granted. So thank you for allowing me to speak to some people that trust you and follow you, and hopefully we can bring a little bit of value today.
Absolutely, man. And that's always the goal, is to bring value, inspiration, motivation, and belief is where it's at, man. But if you've seen the show a little bit, Brandon, what we like to do, man, we like to take the family on a little ride, a virtual field trip into the past of successful entrepreneurs, because we've learned, Brandon, there's so much to uncover, so much to learn from the past of successful people. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's wisdom is learning through and from the experiences of other people.
Yes, absolutely, man. So we got this thing called the Builders Club TV time machine, man. So we can throw you in there and we can talk to you about your past and what you've been through, man. Even the dark times, if you want to share that with us, man, feel free. We're going to be inspired in either way. So if you can, take us back, man. And let me ask you this. What was life like for Brandon Hayes before you discovered the home business industry?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times people say, what did you do before network marketing or before, the home business industry? And my answer is usually I was a kid, So for me, it's kind of, I have a unique story, unique to some people. I started network marketing when I was 18 years old. I mean, so literally, every waking moment of my adult life, I have been in some way, form, or fashion, I've been involved in the home-based business industry. And, but if you go back to age 18, I was in college. And back then, when I first started college, I thought, people said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I don't know. So I decided to go I went into business school. Business administration, I think, was the name of my degree of choice at that time. And right after I joined college, I think my second semester, I met these guys, and they were from North Carolina, and they were a part of a really successful company. They were some of the top leaders in that company, and I was just really fortunate that they maybe saw more potential in me than I even believed I had at that time. But they kind of took me under their wing a little bit, showed me a few of the disciplines that it takes to be successful. And, in fact, they told me, they said, Brandon, if you'll learn some of these disciplines, if you'll figure some of this stuff out, they sort of spoke into my life, and I appreciate them so much for that. But they said, if you'll figure some of this stuff out, you're gonna earn the money that you need to earn. You're gonna drive the car you want to drive, live in the house you want to live in. You'll be able to travel the world first class with your family, and of course I didn't even have a family at that time. But they said you're gonna be able to spoil your kids and wife and give them the best things in life and just set them up on a different trajectory in their life. and they were sort of speaking into my life. And I said, okay, I appreciate that. They said, but promise me two things. Number one, when that happens for you, number one, never forget where you came from. And number two, always pay it forward, meaning always find somebody that you can reach back and help achieve the same level of success, and never stop reaching back. Always reach back. And so I try to do that, and no matter what, I try to always remember that promise and try to fulfill that promise. But I was 18, I was broke, I was BROK, and the E was on layaway. I could not afford the E.
Now that's broke.
So I was below broke. Like I was looking up, just saying, man, I wish I could just be broke. And so I was working, and it wasn't because I was lazy. I was working 3 jobs, right? I had a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs running businesses for other people. But that's where I was when I was 18. I got started in the home-based business industry, and it drastically, first of all, it gave me what I call a success lobotomy. It drastically changed the way that I think. And if you can change your thoughts, here's what I'll tell you. If you can change your thoughts, you can change your world, because here's the progression. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your character. Your character then becomes your habits, and your habits become your destiny. And eventually, after you're long and gone, your destiny then translates into your legacy. And, but it all starts with a thought. And so I was able to change my thoughts, and it changed my entire world. I grew up in a home that was I was very blessed from a family standpoint, not from a financial standpoint, but from a family standpoint, meaning we were rich in love. My dad was a Southern Baptist minister. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She did have different jobs throughout my childhood, but for the most part, she was able to spend a lot of time with me. And my dad was also an entrepreneur, though, and he started many businesses, some of which were successful and some of which weren't successful. But as I look back, he actually introduced me. I didn't realize it at the time, but he actually introduced me to the network marketing world when I was a little kid. I can remember going to meetings that he was attending, but I didn't realize it was a home-based business at that point. But so 18 years old, I get involved. I didn't have a ton of success in that first company. I made a little bit of money, but what I learned there was way more valuable than money, and the way that it changed who I was, it literally shifted my trajectory of my future. And as you look back, I call it the thin thread, the things that are seemingly insignificant. Man, this was so significant in my life. What began to happen is I became an entrepreneur. I shifted from an employee mentality. I had literally been brainwashed, by society to believe that I had to be an employee. And 14,000 hours minimum at a public school taught me that you have to go to school, you have to get good grades, you have to go get a job, and you have to work for somebody else. Well, this success lobotomy occurred when I met my first mentors in network marketing, and they helped me understand that I don't need a job, I need an income. And there's a major difference there. And income can come from many different sources. It can come from a job. That's the traditional way that most people do it. But it can also come from other ways that can produce time freedom for you. And I saw the home business world as a way for me to be able to create income for me and my future family, and in a way that I could also maintain time freedom. And that was the real goal for me, because I realized, there's lots of ways to get rich, especially in America. Yeah. There's lots of ways to get wealthy, but there's not a whole lot of ways to do it in such a way that you can have time freedom. And so it wasn't just the money for me that was attractive. It really was the time freedom aspect. And so fast forward a few years later, I'd actually parted ways with that company for reasons that, I won't call them ethical reasons. I'll call it just a disagreement of some of the ways that things were being done as I started climbing the leadership in that company a little bit, and peeked behind the curtain. I didn't really like what I saw on some things. So I set out of the industry for a few months, and what I was doing during that period of time was evaluating companies, looking for a good company. And I developed this criteria. I traveled all over the place. I didn't have any money, and I didn't have a lot of time because I was working 3 jobs. But all the money and time that I had was going towards finding the right company for me at that time. And I eventually found a great company that I partnered with. I was there for about a decade. a little less than a decade, became the face of that company pretty much, became one of the top income earners there. And life has been crazy ever since, crazy good ever since. In that same time period, I met my wife, or I reconnected with my wife. We got married. We had a couple of kiddos. We've traveled the world many times over. Because of this business, it's inherently about helping other people. We've been able to help develop multiple 7-figure earners, even more 6-figure earners, and then even more people that have really changed their financial situation. And so it's been a huge blessing in my life. And, I'm so thankful for the industry, because without it, who knows where I would be. I would probably just be like I was back when I was a snot-nosed kid from Nowheresville, Kentucky. I would probably just be working a job somewhere, like I was on pace to do before I met those mentors back in the day. But that's kind of the summation, the short version. Of course, there's a lot of drama in the details, but we don't have time to unpack everything. But that's kind of what happened for us. We earned our first $1 million in our 20s because of network marketing. And it's just been incredible. It's been a big time blessing for us. Super thankful.
Wow. You do have a very unique story, and I want to scale back in your story a little bit, because I am interested in knowing, because you've been able to create a lot of success early in your career, and most people would agree that that's not common, that someone's going to make their first 6-7 figures while still in their 20s, because most people in their 20s are usually doing other things, right? They're not really that focused, right? So I'm curious to know, because I know you were pretty much raised in network marketing, right? And you had great examples early on, but you were still a young man coming up, right? So I want to keep it real. How did you stay focused being a young man? You're getting all this personal development. You're seeing the opportunities and the possibilities and the prospects of success. But how did you keep away from all the distractions, being so young, having success?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I always kept away from all the distractions. But here's the thing about distractions. Distractions come for everyone. The key is to just not allow yourself to get distracted. Every time you get knocked off course, right, the ability to stay steadfast is really one of the main characteristics of successful people. The things that are easy to do, success is easy, guys. I hate to break it to you, or at least the things to do to become successful. Those are easy most of the time. But the thing about easy things to do, they're also easy not to do. And that's what makes it hard for people. It's not lack of time that keeps most people stuck. It's lack of discipline. That's what keeps people stuck. We all have the same time. Most of us have similar, there are people that are way less talented than everybody watching this right now that are achieving results that they want to achieve. And when I began to realize, like, I'm a human being, that, there are seeds of greatness in me, but I have to cultivate the seeds, right? God feeds the birds every morning, but he does not shove the worm down their throat. And you mentioned a word, personal development. I think that is the thing that really kept me on course, is I made a commitment to personally developing, not getting better by 1,000% every day, just getting a little bit better, right? Inch by inch is a cinch, right? Yard by yard is hard, but inch by inch is a cinch. And success doesn't happen in a day. It does happen daily. So you give me somebody that, is excited for one day, they're 1,000% excited for one day, but they lose that excitement by the end of a week, they're probably not going very far. But you give me somebody that can stay excited. It's not about getting excited. It's not about who can get the most excited or who can get the most committed or the most enthusiastic. It's about the person that can get excited and stay excited for the longest period of time and work hard and smart during that period of time. And that's what I just committed to do. I knew I wasn't the best. I wasn't the smartest. I'm a college dropout. I didn't have any silver spoon. I didn't have any advantages that most people would look at me and in the beginning, they would say, there's no way that guy is going to have a ton of success in life financially. So I knew I didn't have any of those kind of advantages, but I knew that I could outlast most people and I could outwork most people. And so I didn't have a ton of talent, but when talent fails to work hard, hard work beats talent every single time. And not just hard work, but smart work and long lasting work. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I will say this, the only reason that it kind of appears that I had, or people would say you had an early success, and that is true. I mean, we did have early success, but, by my early 20s, I had a consistent, multiple six-figure income coming in, whether I got off the couch or not, in my early 20s, and that is early. Yeah. But it's because I got a really early start too. It's because I started when I was 18. Right. So let me share a little bit of just to put this in perspective. When I was 18, I got involved in a company. I knew nothing about success, business, network marketing, home business, none of that. I didn't know any of it, but I started to learn, and I made that commitment to personal development every single day. Like taking a shower. I don't miss a day of a shower, at least most days. So I also don't miss a day of personal development, at least most days, right? So I had this habit that was developing, and that habit is what kept me disciplined. It's what kept me on track to start to develop other habits that lead to success. And in the process, I'm getting better and better and better. So it really wasn't, even though I didn't see a ton of success in that first network marketing experience, it wasn't about what was happening around me. It was about what was happening inside of me, right? And I was becoming a different person. I was becoming the person that could earn $1 million a year in network marketing. I was becoming the person that could build an organization of tens of thousands of people internationally. I couldn't do that when I was 18 because I wasn't the person yet. I had to become the person. So I'm 18. I start this company. I didn't see a ton of success, but I learned a ton. I became a different person, and I set out for a couple of months. Let me tell you what happened when I was 18 when I joined that company. Okay. I wrote my resignation letter to my boss, meaning I wanted to quit my jobs and I wanted to walk away from, everything and just be a full-time networker. So I wrote my resignation out and I dated it for 4 years later, which means I was 18. That means I would have been 19, 20. I would have been 22 years old when that happened. Okay. Well, so I'm projecting and kind of, putting it out there for my future. Hey, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do it. That was my goal. Okay. And my goal was to retire or walk away from traditional employment, right? And I said, I'm going to do it in 4 years. Well, 4 years rolls around. I'm 22 years old. And guess what? It didn't happen. It didn't happen for me. And so I was pretty depressed is too strong of a word. I was downtrodden. I was not very excited about the fact that I did not hit my goal. Not only did I not hit my goal at age 22, but I wasn't even in a network marketing company building at that time. So fast forward to age 22, I didn't hit my goal, but you know what? Here's what I did that I think is different. This was a defining moment in my career. Here's what I did that was different than what most people would do at that moment. Because you got to understand, I had all these people in my ears saying, Brandon, it's never going to work. Who do you think you are? You're going to be some big business guru. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. People making fun, well-meaning, well-wishing friends, family, coworkers, people that were just trying to talk me out of my dream and tell me I was crazy. They thought I was nuts. And I'm thinking, yeah, I am nuts compared to you. I'm insane. I think totally different than you because remember, I'm getting positive personal development every single day in my ears from people I associate with, from the books I read, from the audios I pay attention to, the videos I watch. So I think different than these people that are around me, right? And I'm protecting my mindset. And so here's what I did different, I think, and it's a defining moment, than what most people would do when I did not hit my goal by age 22. I'm 22 years old, and you know what I did? I pulled out that piece of paper, that resignation that I had written at age 18, and guess what I did? I just rewrote it. I rewrote the resignation letter. I said, guess what? And you know what? I said, I'm a different person now. I know more than I did when I wrote this 4 years ago. I've got more skills. I've got more talent, or I've got more ability. I've got more knowledge. And so I can take this toolbox that I now have. I said, you know what? I bet I can do it even faster. I put even more pressure on myself. Last time I said I'll do it in 4 years, didn't happen. No big deal. I'm going to do it in 2 years this time. And so at age 22, I rewrote the resignation letter and said, by age 24, I will not have a job. I'll have a six-figure income from network marketing. And this is a resignation letter to whomever my employer is at that time. So here's what's cool. Age 24 rolls around. It happened. By age 24, I had actually a little bit earlier. It happened earlier than I anticipated. But by age 24, I'm financially, in a position where I'm making 6 figures a year, and I'm in a position where I no longer have to work a job, and I haven't worked a job ever since.
Wow.
The defining moment was, what do we do? What do we do in that moment when we're faced with a choice to have faith in our dream, or we can choose to succumb to fear of our failure? They're both predictions of the future, guys. They're both technically, for lack of a better way to put it, they're both a lie, at least in the moment. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if the good thing or the bad thing is going to happen. You can choose which one you're going to believe. I'm just suggesting that you believe a different lie. Most people believe the lie that they're going to fail, they're going to quit, things are not going to work out, everything is conspiring against them. I'm challenging you to believe the dream, believe that lie, because you don't know what's going to happen. If you're going to believe something, you're believing it's either way. So believe a different lie, and understand that you can choose to put all of your focus on the dream. And guys, guess what? It's not going to happen exactly the way that you want it to, just like it didn't for me. It's not going to happen in the timing that you want it to all the time, just like it didn't for me. The first goal I set didn't happen. But see, I understood that, if I quit, here's a principle: goals in concrete, plans in sand. We got to be steadfast with our goals, but flexible with our plans. And if you understand this concept, how silly would it be? And this is what most people do. How silly would it be for me to quit after I had one major failure like that, or what most people would perceive as a failure? I don't even consider it a failure. I just learned from it, right? It would be like me having a flat tire, getting out of my car on the side of the road, and then taking a knife and slashing the other 3 tires. Why would I do that? I would never do that in real life. Why do people do that with their dreams? And so although it does appear, and it is true, that we had success very early on in terms of age, there was a period of time where I had some decisions to make and some choices to make that could if I would have chosen what a lot of people do, who knows where I would be right now? I mean, what if I would have not rewritten that resignation letter? What if I would have not had the faith to believe in my dream? Listen, you got to think about this. I rewrote that resignation letter at age 22, put more pressure on myself, and said, I'm not going to do it in 4 years. I'm going to do it in 2 years. And I put more pressure on myself this time, even though I had just failed. And everybody was in my ear chirping, saying, you're never going to make it. Get your head out of the clouds and whatever. And I rewrote this resignation letter, put more pressure on myself than I did before. And I was not even in a network marketing company at the time when I wrote it. I had no idea how I was even going to do it. I didn't even have a vehicle. I didn't even know how it was going to happen. I just knew that I knew that it was going to happen. And I would figure it out, because goals in concrete, plans in sand. I figure out the plans, right? And so anyway, I hope that little tidbit was valuable. I don't know if I've shared that very many times on an interview like this.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We are just soaking it up. And, hey, that's why I'm not jumping in, because there's so much value that you're giving us. Let me ask you this, because, of course, like you said, it took a whole lot of hard work, dedication, commitment, belief in order for you to reach the mountaintop you're sitting on right now. But even still, you took it to another level and you got involved into the corporate side of the industry. I'm curious to know, what was the vision behind that? What decisions did you have to make in order for you to go in that direction? And why did you go in that direction when you obviously could just stay where you are, making having a lot of success in the industry, as an independent distributor or a entrepreneur just in this industry, but you decided, you had a bigger vision, obviously. Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So we got to a point in our career with the particular company that we were with and we had been with for a decade. And this is another defining moment. We got to a point where, unfortunately, we can no longer look our people in the eye and tell them that we felt like they were in the best environment to win in business. And that's that's a scary place to be. And it faced us with the toughest decisions that we've ever had to make in our entire career. And so we made the decision, after several years of wrestling with it, we made the decision to step away from that company. Quite frankly, we were just going to kind of ride off into the sunset for a little while, like you talked about. We had just gotten our first house down on the beach. We had just been traveling the world for the last few years. We had just had our first couple of kids. So we were just going to kind of hang out. I've got the first 4 chapters of my book written, so I was just going to finish writing my book. And, you know, kind of just resting on our laurels a little bit. But then I thought about what my mentor made me promise when I was 18. He said, promise to never forget where you came from, always pay it forward. And we had all these people that were following us and that were trusting us and believed in us and loved us and cared about us. And I just felt like I can't let these people down. And so we looked around and we tried some things, and we basically went on a search looking for a company that we felt like kind of met all the criteria once again that we were looking for our specific people and our specific situation. Right. And we just got sick and tired of looking for a safe place for our friends and family and the people that love us and care about us. And we just decided to create it instead. So it was almost in our opinion, it was just kind of born out of necessity. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, if I would have been, if I wanted to be the CEO of a company, I would tell you not in a million years. And I'm doing all kinds of stuff that I've never had to do before, and it's not the fun stuff. It's the CEO corporate stuff. And man, I love this. This is what I love the people, man. This is this is the kind of stuff I enjoy, and I enjoy being with the people and building and creating. Or that's the fun stuff. And but this was just in our specific circles, in our situation, in our scenario, it was just born out of necessity. And we felt like we wanted to create a company that was operating out of some different ideologies and philosophies. And that's what we've done. We've created a company, the nickname of our company is the People's Company. And that's because we've kind of shifted the focus away from just protecting the company into more onto protecting the people. And everything we do, every decision that we make from corporate is through the lens and perspective of people that know what it's like to build. I know what it's like the challenges, the adversities, the struggles that people go through to build a successful business. I know what it's like because I've been there. And I'm always looking back and thinking, man, what do I wish corporate would have done in this situation with me? And so that plays into every decision that we make. We're always thinking, how can we make it simpler, better, clear the path, for the independent rep, the distributor, how can we make it better for them? And it's just a different philosophy, down to our policies and procedures, the way we designed our compensation plan, the way we select products and our product strategy. It's the People's Company. It's all focused on how can we make it better for the people, as opposed to what most companies do, which is how can we make it better for the company. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying that's a wrong philosophy. I'm just saying that we're just trying to do things a little bit different and from a different starting point.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, because you're probably one of the most qualified people to answer this question, and it's going to help everyone who's going to see this, going to help us out a lot. In terms of searching for a company, right? Can you give us a quick little breakdown? Because I think this is important for people to begin to understand, especially in this new era where there's so many opportunities coming our way, right? What's the criteria? What's the best things to look for when you're looking for a new opportunity, a new company to partner with?
I had a list of about 11 or 12 things back when I left my first company and I was looking for a company, and I set out for a few months and I was evaluating companies. I had this list and criteria that I had developed. But I've kind of scrapped that list because I think there's things that are more important. Not to say those things aren't important, but I think the things to look for now, because economic culture, economic climate, 2019 is a different world than 2015, definitely 2009.
Oh my God.
But most companies, unfortunately, I think there's a major shift in a few different areas that are coming in the industry, whether we like it or not. And that's why our company was born, is because we're trying to help the network marketing world move into this new era. And we see our company as a catalyst for change. So we have to take into consideration that 2019 is the era of individuality. It's the era of the entrepreneur. 2020 and beyond, it is the era of autonomy and freedom. And people do not want to be locked into one thing or locked into anything. They want to be free. And, this is the world we live in, guys. We live in the world where somebody can download a free app. Consider this measured up against network marketing. And for the most part, network marketing hasn't changed over the last 30 or 40 years too drastically in terms of the way they operate, their policies and things of that nature. Measure up what I'm about to say against network marketing industry as a whole. People can now download a free app on their phone called Uber or Lyft, and they can drive their existing vehicle. They don't have to go buy a vehicle. They just drive the vehicle they already have, and they can get paid tomorrow, right?
Right.
That's the world that we live in. We live in and Uber built a deca-billion-dollar company off of that concept. And, there's not a single network marketing company that has even come close to touching Uber's revenue. And Uber did it in like 3 or 4 years. So here's the thing is that's the world that we live in. That's the economic culture and the economic climate. So you got to think, most of these network marketing companies, they're operating out of philosophies that are born in the 80s and 90s. And most of them, unfortunately, because of that, are not willing to adjust their policies, and they're not willing to catch up to 2019. So they have huge buy-ins. So that's one thing. I'm going to give you some pain points or red flags or things that I would look at if I were joining a company right now. Companies that have huge buy-ins. I think those are out, in my opinion. Why would I go pay thousands? I mean, there's companies right now that have $10,000 buy-ins. Why would I go pay a $10,000 buy-in when I can download a free app on my phone? I don't have to talk to anybody. I can drive my car and I can get paid tomorrow. So that the huge buy-ins, the auto ship. I think the auto ship has to evolve. I'm not opposed to auto ship. I'm not even opposed to encouraging auto ship. Some companies call it smart ship or whatever, but what I think we have to do is we have to get away from enforcing it as a company to encouraging it and creating, helping it become a program that is incentivizing customer loyalty and retention versus just being a penalty to the distributor or the rep if they're not on auto ship, they don't get paid, right? So I think we have to remove, and if we don't do some of these things, by the way, in my opinion, I think the FTC will do it for us. And I think that over the next 5 years, we're going to see these things being forced on us by the FTC if we don't do it ourselves. So we have to remove the pay to play, or we have to remove this idea that you have to buy the products in order to have the opportunity to sell the products. We have to lead with real value from a customer standpoint. Our product has to be able to stand on its own merit without the opportunity. It has to be a valuable end consumed product that people want to buy and do buy, whether they're getting paid or not. And so these are things that I would consider. So no more huge buy-ins, no more forced auto ship to get paid. No more, what I call games, and this is a big point of contention for me. No more games, like behind the scenes kind of stuff, but behind closed doors, backroom deals, people being inserted into positions and genealogies being moved around and manipulating the downline and all this kind of stuff that goes on that network marketing companies have allowed over the last 30 or 40 years. We got to get rid of that stuff. And here's why, because the millennials are currently, as we speak, they are taking the lion's share of the economy right now. The biggest shift in wealth is happening right before our eyes. And here's what I'll tell you about millennials. They ain't playing. They are not going to put up with all this nonsense. They are not going to put up with all that backroom shady BS, all that stuff behind closed doors stuff. They're not going to put up with these huge buy-ins required in order to participate in the opportunity. They're not going to put up with forced auto ships in order for them to sell the products or build an organization. They're not going to put up with policies and procedures that slap golden handcuffs on them and tell them, hey, once you reach a certain point in our company, you're no longer allowed to participate in another company. They're not going to put up with that stuff. They want freedom, autonomy, individuality.
Right.
They're not building the
big
brand anymore. They are building their brand. That's the shift that has happened. Is people are now building their own brand, and as opposed to building a company brand. So these are things that I would consider. If I were personally looking for a great company today, those are more abstract, surface or 50,000 foot view kind of topics. But the more simple things to look at are leadership. Who owns the company? Are they people of integrity? Are they people of character? Are they first class people? So who owns the company? Who's the corporate team? These are important things to consider. Is there international expansion, planned in the future? Those are things to consider. What's the price point of the staple products? Is it affordable to the masses? Or is it something that's more of a luxury product? And either way is okay. You just have to determine, what's your network like, and what do you want to sell, and what do you want to build a team with. So these are things to consider as well. But I've given you some more abstract concepts to think about too.
Right. Powerful stuff. Brandon Hayes, family. Brandon, will you give out your social media, website, or anything like that the family can get in touch if they like?
Yeah. I think most of my handles are just Mr. Brandon Hayes. So it's facebook.com/MR Brandon Hayes. So no dot, just Mr. Brandon Hayes. And Hayes is Hayes, like hot, yes. And so, Instagram is just Mr. Brandon Hayes. That's my handle. Twitter is Mr. Brandon Hayes. I'm not very active on Twitter these days, but right now I'm just so focused on getting, our company launched and getting everything rolling smooth that I haven't been as active just in general on social media as I need to be. But I do try to interact on Facebook and Instagram as much as I can. But those are probably the three big ones. But yeah, so those are my handles, Mr. Brandon Hayes.
We'll make sure that we link that in the video description. It's been an honor and a pleasure talking with you, man. We've learned so much. We definitely got to have you back on the show, Brandon. In fact, we are working on a new series, The Family Knows. We have something called A Day in the Life, and we're working on that behind the scenes right now. And this basically is the lifestyles of the rich and famous for network marketing, right? But what we're doing is we're bringing together personal development meets lifestyle, right? So we get a chance to go on a virtual field trip, if you will, and we get to, experience, if you will, the lifestyles of successful home business entrepreneurs. But then again, at the same time, we get some more of those golden nuggets. We get some more of that inspiration, motivation, and belief. So, man, we got to have you back for that.
Would love that. And again, let me just reiterate, I don't take it for granted. I'm honored, I'm grateful, I'm humbled that you would even ask me to be on here. So thank you for that chance to and trust in me with your network and the people that trust you.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, the honor is all ours because, we've learned so much in this short time that we've been able to have you. So again, it's going to be an honor to have you back. Before we let you go, Brandon, we've been playing a game with our guests and they've been crushing it. The family's been loving it. And we call it a word of advice with a mentor. Okay, basically how the game works is I'm going to shoot some words at you, man, and you're going to give us back a word of advice based on that word. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'll do my best.
All right. I know you're going to kill it, man. I know you're going to kill it. So you ready to play?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. So the first word that we got for you, man, is find.
Find?
Find.
Okay. I would say find it within yourself to believe in your dreams big enough to stay committed to them.
Awesome. Love it. The next word that we have for you is earn.
Go out and earn your own self-respect. And for most of us, it's just going to take some hard, stinking work. But you can earn it, and it's gonna pay you millions.
That's big. The next word we have for you is commit.
Make a commitment. Make a commitment to become the person that your goals and dreams require you to be. And commitment is doing the thing that you said, or commitment is doing the thing that you said you would do, even when the feeling or emotion that you set it in has left you.
That's big. The next word is boss.
Man, that's tough. I haven't had a boss in so long. It's hard to even think about that word. The only boss I got now is my kids. Yeah. Learn to discipline your disappointments so your boss doesn't have to do it for you.
Ooh, that's a good one. The last and final word. Here's a good one, man. I think you might not be too familiar with the word boss, but I know you're familiar with this one. The last word, Brandon, is retire.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. That's tough. I got all kinds of.
Give it to us.
Yeah. So, what's funny about the word retire? It's like when you remember something, you or recollect something, it means you do it over again, right? So You're tired once, and then you're retired, so you're tired again.
Wow.
but I think we should retire our excuses and focus more on our goals, because you can't have both.
Wow. See, that was creative. See, I would have thought you would have went the easy route and said something like, work hard so you can retire, but you
Yeah,
got creative with it.
I was gonna say that, but I figured so many people have a different definition, and my definition of retire has changed too over the years. When
Right.
when I was 18, I was running around telling everybody I was going to retire by age 22,
Mm.
and what I meant was quit my job. And now what I found is I actually, once I got to a certain level of financial success, I actually I actually work harder now because my dreams and goals are so much bigger
Wow.
than they were when I was 18. So I actually, like, now I think about retiring from a job or retiring from a business. Like, people ask me now, when are you going to retire? I'm like, never. I don't know. I mean, when am I? Because all we do now is just focus on instilling, breathing life into other people. That's the work we do. Is just trying to focus on living up to that commitment I made and that promise I made to my mentor early on. And so I don't know when I'll retire from that. In terms of the traditional word retire, I guess I did that a long time ago, meaning just not having to work a traditional job to get paid, and the money comes in now whether I work or not. But now our dreams and goals are different, and I don't know if we'll ever retire from wanting to contribute to the world and wanting to see other people succeed and all that kind of stuff. So that's once that moves from your head to your heart, it's hard to retire from that. But definitely retire from your job as soon as you can. Do that as soon as you can, so then you can start focusing on what's really important in life. The things that really matter, which all stem usually in my world. It all stems from people. People is what matters. And so let's retire from our jobs, and that way we can start focusing on other people.
Man, that's amazing. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, man. Like I said, we definitely got to have you back. We've learned so much, Brandon, just, in this short amount of time. So we definitely going to be looking forward to having you back on the show. But once again, thank you for coming on to the Builders Club TV, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Builders Club TV family, there you have it. Brandon Hayes. We'll see you next time. Peace.